More on this now. Let's bring in our political panel. Simon Rosenberg, president and founder of the National Democratic Network and a former Clinton campaign advisor. And Larry O'Connor is host of Mornings on the Mall on WMAL in Washington, editor-at-large for hotair.com. That's a new position, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Great team over there.
All right. So Larry, Ted Cruz is back in the race. Marco Rubio doesn't want to be VP. What's going on?
Well, first of all, welcome to Simon's town. It's great to have you down. Well, he's a Democrat. This is Democrat's town. But yes, listen, I don't know what's going on here actually in Ted Cruz's mind, because this doesn't make any sense. I have a feeling that people in the Glenn Beck orbit are getting very excited about this. He was in that, in an interview with Glenn. He wanted to say some things that would, make people happy, because it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Yes, he's only suspended his campaign. George Pataki has only suspended his campaign, but he doesn't have a chance here. And a floor fight doesn't help anyone. Okay, so are Democrats relishing over this news that once again this could be a break in the so-called unity in the GOP?
Well, I don't know if there is unity yet, right? I mean, I think this is going to test Donald Trump's diplomatic skills to put this party back together. There's an amazing amount of opposition. I mean, look, I come from a party that can often be very factious and a lot of infighting.
No.
You don't even have a nominee yet.
I know,
exactly.
and so it's been a little bit surprising to me to see the continued level of opposition when it's clear that Trump's going to be the guy.
Okay, let's
talk. The weird thing here, by the way, just really quickly, talking to the voters as I do on radio, on talk radio, Cruz voters and Trump voters have a lot in common. Yeah. They're actually very similar.
Well, they're both outsider voters, and they made up 75% of the primary electorate thus far, and that's why I have said that the establishment should be looking at those numbers a little bit more closely.
Right. On point.
But let's look at Marco Rubio and what he said now about, he's not interested at all in being the VP for Trump. My previously stated reservations about his campaign and concerns with many of his policies remain unchanged. He will best be served by a running mate and by surrogates who fully embrace his campaign. As such, I have never sought, will not seek, and do not want to be considered for vice president. So, Larry, this is on the heels of Trump saying, hey, I might look at all 16 of my former competitors on the GOP side.
Which was a heck of an olive branch for Trump. And, well, then here's Rubio's response. You know what? Anyone, let me just tell you, anyone right now who's coming out and saying, I don't want to be considered, they're not being considered. And by the way, Gretchen, I'm giving you an exclusive right now. I do not wish to be considered for Donald Trump's running mate. All right. I would have been a great vice president, by the way.
Well, he said he might pick a Democrat, or somebody on his team did.
Simon.
I am not being considered also.
All right. So what do you make of Rubio, though? Because I found this a little fascinating that he would be that forceful about it, because Trump did actually mention Rubio. It might have been a pretty smart pick for Donald Trump. Right. And if Trump wins, it gets Rubio to the White House quicker than running again by himself.
Listen, Rubio says that he's going to run in 2020 after Trump loses. It's amazing this is already being discussed. Can he let the guy run his race and see what happens? I mean, it's, look, Rubio, I think this was a mistake by Rubio. And I think, he's very quickly going to be out of the limelight and, desperately trying to get back in the game. And it is amazing how, this is why I think the story about Cruz is so interesting, right? Cruz has a place to go now. Of all the people that lost, right? I mean, he's coming back. He's got a big perch in the Senate. And he's got a big decision to make. Is he going to continue to be a bomb thrower the way that he was, or is he going to be more of a mature statesman? I think this is going to be one of the biggest stories of the Republicans this year.
And he has leverage. If there's going to be unity coming out of this convention in Cleveland, it's going to depend on Cruz and his voters. So
who
Trump
knows?
needs him.
He could be the VP pick as well. You never know.
That would be fascinating.
My money's
that
on
would be fascinating.
My money's on Kasich.
Or it could be Pataki.
Or me.
You took yourself out earlier. That was just 5 seconds ago. Although today is the day of changing your mind.
That's right. Never say never.
Who knows? Guys, great to see you.
Thanks so much, Gretchen.